What's up, everyone? It's Caddy with Money Investing. So here we are, brace for impact, because we have the markets pulling back right now. We got the Nasdaq down over 1%. We got the S&P down over 63 basis points, and the Dow Jones down a little bit over 29 basis points as well. So markets coming down hard. PPI numbers came out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, so just about 20 minutes ago. I wanted to break that down as well. And yes, the market's certainly down. Nvidia, AMD, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft, all of them just pulling back. NEO, I think, is also down. And I think many stocks are pulling back right now, pre-market. So yes, we'll go over QQQ, SPY as well. I love the comment from Wall Street Hub: buy every dip until I die. That's incredible. But yes, definitely a lot of stocks pulling back here. And this right here is, by the way, give me a thumbs up if you guys can hear me and see me. We should be all set and good to go. And let's take a quick look on the volatility as well. And the VIX is up over 7% right now, almost 8%, back over 21, almost 22 levels for the volatility. So definitely pushing higher. So, all right, good. Let's see. So it's not funny. Well, if you are in the mindset of actually seeing that as an opportunity, it starts to become more exciting. Obviously, it's not funny, but it is exciting because there's going to be plenty of opportunities in the markets. I did some buying pre-market today, and I will continue to do some more buying if stocks continue to sell off. So I did send out some alerts pre-market, bought some stocks today, 3 or 4 different companies, and I will continue to kind of buy more if you do see some selling pressure here. So this right here is going to be the inflation report. So wholesale prices measure rises 9.6% in November from a year ago, the fastest pace on record. So wholesale prices increased at their quickest pace ever in November, and the latest sign that the inflation pressures in the economy are still present. The Labor Department reported Tuesday, and the Producer Price Index, which is the PPI for final demand products, increased 9.6% over the previous 12 months, so 9.6% year over year, after rising another 80 basis points in November. Economists had been looking for an annual gain of 9.2%. So coming in a little bit higher and hotter than expectations, not a surprise. CPI was also a little bit higher than what we were forecasting. So excluding food and energy, so core PPI rose 0.7 or 70 basis points for the month, putting the core PPI at 6.9% year over year. Also the largest gain on record, and estimates were for respective gains of about 40 basis points and 7.2%. So a little bit shy of the consensus estimate for the core CPI, meaning the monthly gain was faster than estimates, but the year-over-year measure was a bit slower. And the Labor Department's record keeping for the headline number goes back to November 2010, and the core calculation dates back to August 2014. And those numbers come in with headline consumer price running at their fastest pace in nearly 40 years, with the core inflation the hottest since about 30 years. And of course, we CPI sitting at 6.8%, core CPI almost at 5%, and now we have the PPI, the Producer Price Index, the manufacturing, what the businesses are paying for, also sitting north of 9% and 7% respectively at the moment. So moving forward, we got final demand services inflation ran at about 70 basis points monthly rate, much faster than the 20 basis points in October. And we got rising 1.2% for the month for the bigger driver for producer prices, demand goods, a touch slower than a 1.3% increase in October. So we're seeing a little bit of a shift away from goods over to services slightly. See that as a positive at all, with the Nasdaq down the most, followed by the S&P, and then the Dow Jones down a little bit over 29 basis points as well. So yes, Dogecoin pushing higher. I think I just saw a tweet from Elon Musk, a few hours ago, when he said Tesla might start expecting, I think it was for apparel or something, they might start expecting Doge and see how it goes, and it started rallying a little bit higher. Right now it's up over 25%, just under 20 cents. But then we got Bitcoin up just over 1%. We got Ethereum up just over 31 basis points as well. Speaking of cryptocurrency, the chart that I was talking about yesterday was this one right here. So again, shout out to Rita for sharing this with our Discord members. And this is, again, dating back to 2013 and goes over every single month and what has been those gains for Bitcoin every single month, right? So you'll notice that every time we've actually seen greens has been like, the months of April has been one of the best months. The month of February has been very, very good. The month of May, somewhat also really good for Bitcoin. June has been good. October, November has been really good. But then, January has been very poor. March has been very poor. A lot of red years in March for Bitcoin. And then we've also got August and September, really, really bad months as well. So kind of going into December, January, and February, those are some months that we do see Bitcoin kind of waver off a little bit and kind of pull back, but then pick up going into the summer as well, and then going into fall. So this was the chart that I was referring to. Again, feel free to kind of take a screenshot if you want to, but this is also going to be available in our Discord. I'll share that with all of our members. And again, October, November, December should be filled. This is an older chart, so it should be updated very soon. So that being said, the market's taking the demand, the PPI, the producer price index demand, obviously pricing that in very, very quickly. Tomorrow is the big day. Today, we only had the producer price index. I think the retail sales also come out actually tomorrow. And then, of course, tomorrow we've got the FOMC meeting, the Fed chair talking. And it's going to be, whether we see an accelerated taper and whether we see any type of tapering measures or not. That's going to be the big catalyst for the markets, and that's what we're all waiting for, is what the Fed announces from a monetary policy standpoint, and of course from a summary of economic projection standpoint as well, and how they change their outlook. So is my internet okay? I just want to make sure that it's working. Somebody just mentioned that my internet, it's not looking too good, but yeah. Yes, so we are ready. And Jamie, what did I buy? You'll have to be part of our Discord to know that. I sent out the alerts this morning, bought a few stocks, I think 3 or 4 different companies, and I will continue to kind of buy more. So it's a little bit choppy. Okay, I'm sorry about that, you guys. I have, like I said, the internet connection should be good. It is one of the best ones, but if it's a little bit off, if it's choppy, I do apologize about that. So when is the Fed meeting? Tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. Eastern is when the Fed is expected to announce. There's going to be a calendar update that's going to go out. It's going to be pretty late over here in India, but I'm going to send you guys the link over at Discord, and there's going to be a live stream link in there, and it's going to be a pretty, usual routine Jerome Powell is going to be talking about for the first 15-20 minutes, and then there's going to be reporters, about 25 to 30 news reporters from all over the world, different media reporters asking questions, and he's going to answer those questions, and they're also going to release a summary of economic projections, which all of that I'll break down in our market update. But I will send you guys a link for all of you who are part of our Discord. I'll send you the link where you can watch it as well. So that's that, and then let's see, your connection's good on my end. Okay, so that's good. It's good now. All right, perfect. So yeah, let's take a quick look on some of the stocks. We got Apple down over 36 basis points. Let's take a look at Nvidia. So Nvidia is also down. Last time I checked, I think it was down a little bit over 2% pre-market, and now starting to break down below this 50 EMA as well. So it's down slightly over 2.7%, now trading as low as 274. Advanced Micro Devices is going to be just over 2% right now, so pulling back, also breaking down below that 50 EMA and that $133 support. Tesla is also down over 2.4%. This is the chart that I mentioned in our Discord. So I sent out the market updates for a lot of charts for all of our members, so Tesla was included. And I kind of shared my 2 cents, my thoughts on these companies. For Tesla, this right here, previous resistance, is going to be that next support. So I have kind of readjusted that support at close to 900. And there's also a gap that needs to be filled for Tesla, which is somewhere around here, somewhere between 910 to as high as $944. So that's the gap that Tesla needs to fill. And it looks like we're already starting to fill that in. And this right here, the white rectangle you guys see, represents that gap that Tesla needs to fill. So if we do come down, and again, Elon Musk sold yesterday as well, close to $900 million is what he sold. So, that was obviously putting a lot of pressure, selling pressure on a Tesla stock as well. So, that's one of the reasons why we saw Tesla stock down over 4.9, almost 5%. And as I've mentioned before, we do see a lot of choppiness, a lot of choppy action on Tesla when he sells. And of course, when he's not selling, the buyers kind of step up and push back higher. So that's why we saw a lot of choppiness here. But now we're starting to break down a little bit further. So $900 is going to be that next support level to watch on Tesla. Resistance stays put at close to 1240, 1250 levels for Tesla as well. So that's that. Let's take a quick look on NEO. So NEO, I think, was also down a little bit over, down 3.7%. So next support is going to be sitting roughly at $30. That's the level to watch. And NEO Day coming up on Saturday as well for the company. And then let's take a look at DraftKings. So DKNG also down roughly 2% here. A lot of stocks which belong to sort of like the higher multiple, higher valuation names getting hit. And that's exactly what we talked about last weekend. That was another thing that we talked about when we exited out of Fiverr, some of the other companies as well. But we just got caught up in Pinterest, I think is one of the stocks that I'm holding still that is a little bit of a higher valuation, and that has been selling off, which we'll talk about later. But DraftKings, has just been selling off as well from highs of over $65 recently. It's down over 58%. The support level next is going to stay put at close to $27. I don't know why it's not showing up. It should show up. I had the analysis here, so yeah, I don't know why my charts are not showing up here, but this right here is going to be that next support, roughly 27.50 for DraftKings right now. So that's going to be the level to watch. And guys, I'm not here to talk about Kramer. I'm not here to talk about Citadel. I'm not here to talk about short squeeze. So please, I know that you guys are mentioning that, and it would be great for us to go over that, but this is not what this is about. We're only talking about the markets, the broader indices. We'll go over stocks, individual companies. We'll talk about the macroeconomic, policies and different events that's coming up and the fundamentals of the company as well. So unfortunately, we won't be talking about any of that. So DraftKings 27.50, that's going to be that support level to watch right now. And let's take a quick look on Pinterest as well. So Pinterest, another one that unfortunately is a little bit on the higher valuation side. We've talked about it. However, it has come down similar to PayPal. So PayPal and Pinterest are two companies that were trading at higher valuation, and they have come down a little bit. So support level is going to stay put at close to $35, $36 per share. So anything inside this green rectangle, I do believe there is going to be some demand present for Pinterest, like we saw earlier back in August of 2020. So, this is a stock. Unfortunately, like I said, full disclosure, I am down a little bit over 30% on this one. So, we'll be watching that $35 to $36 level for Pinterest moving forward. Talking about SoFi. So SoFi also is starting to come down a little bit. So down over 2.3%. Trading as low as 14.24. So this right here is going to be that next support level, 13.60, $14 levels. And, again, I did a video on SoFi not too long ago. A few weeks ago, I did a complete fundamental analysis on the company, and I mentioned, how the valuation from a price to sales standpoint trading at 18 is high, right? So I wouldn't be surprised in the short term to see a pullback, but over the long term, as the company gains that bank charter, increases that revenue, wouldn't be surprised if the company gets up to as high as $40 per share. That's kind of like my price target 5 years out, considering very moderate valuation multiples and decent growth for the company as well. So support level, $13, $14 per share right now, and resistance is going to stay put at close to $17.30 right now. So I'll take a look at Hood and Fubo as well. A lot of fear of what Jay Powell will say tomorrow. This will be a bloody day. Yeah, there is some speculation about, obviously there's things that we know and there's things that could happen, right? There's only two variables to this. Things that we already know, what Jerome Powell is going to say, and things that could happen, during that meeting. So things that we know are that we're expecting an accelerated taper, right? Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve could announce the tapering measures to be accelerated a little bit and could wind up a little bit earlier than previously anticipated. So earlier they said that they are planning to, wind down by $15 billion and they will end by the middle of next year, 2022. They could ramp that up to $30 billion and could end maybe in March or April of 2022. So that's number one. And the second thing is that the Fed will announce some type of interest rate hikes, some quantitative tightening going into 2022 as well. Right now, the market seems to be pricing in 2 rate hikes. That's something that we are expecting. But then you never know from the dot plot from the FOMC members, if they start pricing in 3, 4, if they start expecting more than 2 rate hikes, or they start expecting even a further tapering measure to wind down, before March, that's going to be putting some pressure on the markets even further. And as I've mentioned, and in our yesterday's video as well, again, this is the real talk because I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Quantitative tightening is a completely different environment. It's not what we've seen in the past couple years. This was a lot of money supply, a lot of printing, and usually in that environment, growth stocks, just the economy in general seems to be on this very, very rapid growing momentum type state. But now it's the complete opposite, right? It's going to be a little bit of a difficult sort of market just in general, because there's not going to be as much disposable income to invest or spend or invest or save, right? So that's just the nature of the market. But even then, over a longer term period, you'll notice the S&P, the NASDAQ have done well. So just because the markets pull back on these fears of interest rates going higher in the short term, don't let that be the catalyst or be that trigger to kind of keep you out of the markets, right? This is still going to be opportunities to accumulate and buy, and you know, the VIX spike, that's still going to be your cue to stay long and stay invested, in my view, because over the long term, like I said, things will normalize, and once again, growth will pick up in the future. But in the short term, there is going to be some volatility, and be prepared for that. So all right, that's that. Let's take a look at some of your questions. So stocks are great, but are you going to Man United soon? So I was actually going to go like once they drew PSG to definitely watch Ronaldo versus Messi. But the fact that they redrew and they pulled Atletico now, so I'm probably not going to go. But I was definitely going to go if they were playing PSG. But that plans got canceled very quickly because Champions League pulled a fast one on us. So that's that. So I think, so Toronto says, I kind of think that today won't be too bad if it stays red quite a bit. It's already priced in. I agree. I think we are seeing a little bit of momentum on the downside from the PPI numbers that we just got. And this is more so towards the quantitative tightening. I don't think the new variant is going to cause a lot of market weakness. I think it's more so related to the quantitative tightening and the inflation numbers that came out as well. So right, this was our calendar. Again, Tuesday is today. So we got those PPI numbers, inflation report, and then tomorrow we've got the FOMC meeting, the Fed rate decision, and the SEP as well. 2 p.m., 2:30 p.m. is when that comes out. So it's really important to keep a track on these calendars, right? Because it gives you like a day-by-day outlook on what to look forward to, what's coming out from a macroeconomic policy standpoint, and for us to keep track of certain things. So that's that. And then earnings, you know, there's not a lot of company earnings. CleanSpark reports after the bell. That's it. And then I'm only interested in Adobe later today because I have a small position in Adobe as well. And then again, this is the calendar that we've already gone over. So, all right, that's that. And then let's just take a look at some stocks. So VUG, I think I did buy some VUG. I could be wrong, but I did buy some. But I will consider to kind of dollar cost average on Vanguard Growth ETF as well. This is an experiment that I'm actually doing right now, and I think this is one of the best times to actually do it because, you know, there's a lot of fears about the markets having negative to no returns for the next several years, or even potentially for the next decade, because of how much the market's forward-looking, it's already priced in. So I think this would be a best time for me personally to keep doing this experiment and to see whether this VUG ETF comes out on top with a profit, or if I break even or at a loss, or I'm actually in a loss in the future or not. Right now, I'm just slightly in the profit right now for VUG, but this is only an experiment for me to continue to kind of dollar cost average, and I will keep doing that. So, all right, it's lagging a little bit again. God damn it. So, all right, we'll just wait a couple minutes here. Hopefully, it kind of gets better. So, can't watch like this. God. Hopefully it gets better. The internet's good. I don't know what's wrong. The video feed is dead. All right, is it getting better? Is it better? Huge lag, somebody says. I got video, I can see you, it's good now. Okay. Guys, I'm so sorry, I don't know what's going on. I was better off in London, right? I was better off in England, I believe. The internet there was amazing. Even at a hotel room, it was perfect. No sound. This is so frustrating, you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay, so it's totally fine now. Just have to restart the stream. Better. Still nothing. It's better. No lag here. Move over there. Move over where? I'm like right in front of the camera. All good. Okay, all good. Move to the UK. Guys, I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I have no idea. Like, this is the best internet I have. Honestly, this is the best I can do. I mean, I can plug the computer into the wired internet, but I think even then, it's just going to be as good as the Wi-Fi that I have. And we'll just gonna have to make do with what we have. Unless, of course, I do plan on traveling next year, and then hopefully we can do that. So, all right, I'll just refresh my browser here because you guys are suggesting it. So I'll do like a refresh of the browser, and if it dies on me, then it's all on you. My mouse is not working. How am I supposed to fix that, Robert? Okay, just let me know if you guys can see me and hear me now. Okay, sound great. Okay, it's fine now. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Good. So VOG, we were talking about that. And then let's take a look at what other stocks can we look at? Guys, come on. Now you guys are just like talking about problems that have nothing to do with me. I'm at 360p. It should update. It should definitely update. In my view, just give it a minute. It should update. Yeah, I have. So I have the live stream running on my phone right now, and it definitely gives me like the 1080p option. But let's take a look at Amazon here. So Amazon is slightly down. Wow, it's definitely pulling back over 1.25%. This is kind of like a adjusted or like a new chart, I want to say, for Amazon. So this has been the weekly chart for the company. And you'll notice that, for the most part, since June, July 2020, we've just been sideways, more so like a small uptrend. We have still made some progress, but in a nutshell, Amazon's really not gone anywhere. So the support that I'm really watching is 3150. This right here is going to be that level of support as an area of demand. I would love to get some more shares of Amazon. I already do have like a reasonably sized position in the company, so wouldn't really be considering like a big buy or just be aggressive there, but just like a few more shares to kind of round out the whole position. All the way down to 2875 is going to be that next support. And both levels, you'll notice, historically have acted as some really strong support levels. And resistance, there is the double top resistance in roughly at 37.45, 37.50. That's the all-time high for Amazon. Amazon is a dividend. Yes, it kind of feels like it's a dividend stock, definitely. Let's take a look at Square. So Square also kind of fits in that high growth, high valuation category. So definitely seeing a bit of a pullback. So we did buy in the 170s a couple of weeks ago. So 150 is going to be that next support level to watch. And Square definitely seeing a lot of momentum. So PayPal definitely telling Square right now, welcome to the party. Like welcome to what it feels like just being sold off week after week, day after day. And this was PayPal who kicked us off with that 33% drop, and then Square kind of following up with that move, basically telling PayPal, like, I can't leave you alone, down under 36%, Square as well. And again, we started a very small position in the 170s. I do plan on continuing to kind of dollar cost average in this, and 150s is going to be that next level that I'm watching for Square as well. So that would be that next level of support or resistance stays put at close to $200 on the company. Talking about Palantir. So Palantir down over 2.8%. Another company that, again, in the short term trades at a higher valuation. So you have to consider that when you're trying to understand the risk assessment for this company. So next support level is going to be 17.22. So that's a level that we have validated coming in since May. So right after the earnings, they dropped off. They sold off pre-market and then rallied for the next few weeks. But that is going to be that next support. RSI coming down, MACD coming down as well, pretty significantly. So let's see. So Upstart, let's take a quick look at Upstart. How's our friend Upstart doing? So looks like we're down to 145, down over 3.85, almost 4%. So I shared another updated chart in our Discord for Upstart as well. And I'm considering Upstart in the 107 down to $87 range. So those right there are going to be two support levels to watch for the company. It just feels that there's a lot of rebalancing happening as well. I mean, if you take a look at the names that are down, these are stocks that were doing really well up until November and December, possibly even like, a few weeks earlier than that. And it seems like a lot of profit taking, a lot of rebalancing from Wall Street is what took place because they want to lock in gains. They want to show some really good year-to-date returns to their clients. And 2021 is coming to a close. So it's not a surprise we're seeing some rebalancing effect of that from the markets, and as a result, a lot of these companies are just getting sold off, which have been huge winners up until recently, right? So I mean, Shopify up until a few weeks ago, before this pullback of 21%, this stock was up over 40% on very, very high valuation. Talk about Nvidia, right? This stock was also up close to over 130 plus percent. Right now, it's still up over 115%, right? AMD, same story. It was up close to 45, 46% year to date. Before the sell-off, it was up even more, over 50%. I think Square might have been a one that was pretty much flat. Yep, so year to date, it's down over 19%. And that's after this sell-off, after this 30% sell-off. Before that, it was up close to 15-20%. Same thing with PayPal as well. So I think we are seeing some rebalancing and some profit taking on some of these companies. So Nvidia, we've already gone over. Facebook, we'll take a look. NEO, we've also gone over earlier. So, but Facebook down over 1.44%. We did do some buying on Facebook today pre-market, so we picked up a few shares of Facebook this morning, and I will continue to kind of dollar cost average on this company as well. So Tesla, let's take a look. So Tesla down over 3%. As I've said, $900 is going to be that next support, and that's going to be kind of inside this white rectangle, right? If we do fill that gap, that's going to be sitting roughly between 910 and 944. Right now, we definitely are coming down. And with yesterday's sell-off, I think that puts Elon Musk even further into his goal. I think way over 70% goal if he does decide to sell 17 million shares. But if he decides to sell over 25 million, that's going to put us roughly 50-55% range for the amount of shares that he wants to sell. So if that continues, that's going to put pressure on the stock. It's plain and simple. If Elon Musk sells, regardless of how many people buy, there is going to be pressure on the stock and the price is going to come down. That's what we've seen every time Elon Musk has sold. And on December 13th, which was yesterday, we saw another form for filing from the SEC from Tesla, representing that Elon Musk once again sold a lot of Tesla shares as well. So watching support at close to $900, that's going to be that level to watch for Tesla. And if he continues to sell, there's going to be some pressure on the stock, without a doubt. So volatility is still up over 7.6%. So definitely seeing a bit of a push higher. So let's take a look at Snapchat, and we'll take a look at Activision Blizzard as well. So Snapchat did see a little bit of bounce higher from that support of $48. So we did rally close to over 18% before reversing back down. And right now we're just at support once again at close to $47, $48. So pre-market, we are down a little bit over 2.2%. So this was a historical support that we had identified. We did see a rally from that recently before once again selling back down as growth has been under pressure. And Snapchat, as I mentioned before, trades at a little bit of a higher valuation. So we're going to keep a close eye at valuations as well for many stocks. So we're going to go over to Seeking Alpha. And we're just going to click on Snapchat just to get a good understanding on where the valuation is for this company. So right now we're trading at price to earnings non-GAAP basis at over 131. So a little bit on the high end. Enterprise value to EBITDA. Forward 177. And then we got price to cash flow just under 200. And then price to sales forward just about 19, almost 20 levels. So valuations a little bit on the high end for Snapchat as well. So it's not a surprise we're seeing a bit of a contraction for the company. Let's take a look at Visa. So let's see. So this right here is going to be Visa. So just down about 82 basis points. We did see a bit of a bounce back higher from 190s. So that was a rally 12.5%. Support level is going to stay put at close to $205. Visa has come down definitely in terms of where it was trading and where it's now from a valuation standpoint. But if you do see some more pressure for growth for higher valuation names, then Visa, I wouldn't be surprised if you see 190s once again. So that is the next support below $205. But regardless, if it does come down, I will be a buyer of Visa because I do like the stock long term. Margins are really high, balance sheet is good, and it's still got a lot of growth potential. I think they recently started crypto advisory business, and the UK ban on credit cards from Amazon. Amazon's ban on UK issued credit cards from Visa was one of the reasons why it was selling off, but it also accounts for less than 1% of the revenues for Visa as well. So it's not a big deal for the company. So that's that. Let's take a look at ATVI. So Activision Blizzard. So this stock has also broken down several support levels right now. So obviously it's been selling off. There's been a sexual harassment case on this one as well. That's added more negative catalysts and more selling pressure on the stock. That was one of the reasons. After the earnings, it was down over 14%. And then this entire sell-off we've seen recently has been on the developments on that case as well. So support level right now is going to stay put at close to roughly $57. So previously we have kind of validated that support. So 57, you'll notice previous resistance. We were fighting that level a couple times before we saw that breakout. Came back down to retest that old resistance as a support before rallying even higher. So right now we're just testing that support once again. So that would be the level to watch right now for Activision Blizzard. And there is the 50 EMA trading just below all moving averages right now. So let's see. Corsair also has just been selling off quite a bit. So down under 1.6%, unfortunately. The valuation continues to come down for this company. So if you come over here, you'll notice that I think it trades at very, very low valuation. So price to earnings on a non-GAAP forward basis under 16. And then we got enterprise value to EBITDA forward basis under 12. We got price to sales trading at just over 1, and then price to cash flow at just over 14. So, I mean, the stock trades at very, very cheap valuations. Regardless of how the stock does, the company trades at very low valuations as well. So 1830 is going to be that next support level to watch for Corsair. And year to date, the stock's very poor performance, down about 43%. So this obviously has not been the year for Corsair Gaming. But 1836 is going to be that next support level. And the valuation, as I said, is very, very low for the company. Walgreens, good play for the long run. I'm building a big position in Walgreens, so you guys already know. So Steve, can you please tell me not to panic? I badly need it. I mean, there's no need to panic. There never has been. If you ever find yourself panicking over stocks and selling, take a step back, because that is the one thing that you don't want to do, right? I've been through it, and I'm sure all of us have done it, and guilty as charged. I've done it myself, but it usually ends up being the worst decision you can possibly make if you panic sell. Even if you do want to sell any stock for any reason, at least do it on a green day. At least have some type of analysis or a thesis apart from just looking at the price action and the fact the stock is selling off, right? There has to be more than just the stock price action for you to exit that position, right? There has to be something changed fundamentally, something that has to do with the company itself, the management, the economics. Something's changed, not just the stock price, right? Just because the price is falling doesn't mean anything, right? Fundamentally, something needs to happen in order for us to exit that position. So my take on InMode, that's actually a great question. InMode is down under 4.7%. So I'm waiting for this stock in the 50s. I really like the company. I think the valuation is very, very nice for InMode right now, and the growth is very strong. It's very difficult right now in this market, as I've mentioned before, for us to see companies that have a high growth rate, 100 to 200% growth in revenues, and are also trading at reasonably fair valuations. Usually you see companies that have a high growth rate attached with a very high multiple to them, right? We've seen companies like Upstart, we've seen companies like Nvidia, we've seen companies all over the place that have a very high growth rate, but also trade at very high valuations. I think InMode is one of those companies that has a lot of potential. Obviously, the stock price has reflected that. It was on a huge rally. But right now, price to earnings forward basis under 35, enterprise value to EBITDA under 29, price to sales just under 15. This is a little bit on the high end, I agree. And price to cash flow is also high at just under 34. So watching the stock very closely, I think the growth has been very strong for the company. So, revenue growth year over year, 81%. EBITDA growth has been 167%. And we got EPS also growing at 152%. So profitable company, decent balance sheet, good management. So definitely very, very interested in this stock, but in the 50s. Let's see. Upwork, UPWK, let's take a look. So Upwork also breaking down. I think Upwork also trades at similar to Fiverr. I think we exited out of Fiverr at break even. I exited only because, we just anticipated there might be some pressure for some of the higher growth names, higher growth stocks. And Upwork, kind of similar to Fiverr, also trades at very high valuations. So it's not a surprise where we're seeing a bit of a contraction here for Upwork as well. So next support, in the 30s, $31, $32 range. Resistance is going to stay put at close to $39 to $40 right now. So, all right, let's take a look at the markets here, how we're doing. So SPY continues to pull back, down about 71 basis points. We got the Dow down about 35. We got the NASDAQ still down over 1.18%. The VIX is still up over 7.6. Oil prices still pulling back, with Bitcoin flat. Ethereum is also flat, and Doge is still up over 22%. Ethereum just validating that 3,700 levels. Sheetal, please give us some good news. Can't take this red. Oh man, good news. Putting me on the spot. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, this is the market, and when like I said, I want to keep it as real and call it as I see it with you guys. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat anything. I don't want to tell you guys the market's going to be all good. It's going to go up. It's going to be very green. All the stocks are going to rally back higher. But what I can tell you is that if the markets do pull back, see that as an opportunity for some of the companies that you really like and are coming down to some of your buy targets, right? So for me, like I said, pre-market, I picked up more Walgreens. I picked up more Facebook. I picked up more Mara. I picked up, what else? I got to look at my alerts, but I did pick up some more stocks pre-market, and I continue to plan on buying more because as the volatility goes higher, and again, we've been here before, right? If the VIX spikes, goes up to 30, 35, 40, 50 levels, that's our cue to go long. If the VIX goes down, if it continues to come down to 15, 12 levels, that's our cue to sell and start de-risking and start trimming and take some profits. So that's that's just our playbook. This is what we watch, right? And we time and we look at our different stocks based on the volatility and of course the valuations, the fundamentals, all those different things. So we'll see how the market kind of trades. And we got about less than 5 minutes left. I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? It should be a pretty easy call today, but red or green? What do you guys think today? Yesterday, a lot of people said red, and the markets did indeed closed red, pretty red, down about 1.4% for the NASDAQ. SPY was down over 90 basis points. So you guys were on point, and I want to hear from you guys today. What do you guys think? Red, 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 red. So banks should be interesting. So I wish I was able to pronounce your name, but thank you. I appreciate that. I love you guys too. So red, a lot of red. A lot of people expecting a bloodbath. But for banks, we actually did pick up some more JP Morgan as well. I think that was one of the stocks from yesterday or today. But JP Morgan also continues to sell off. I think yesterday was down 1%. I think the entire banking sector was down a little bit. I do want to point out that the interest rate hike could somewhat be priced in to some extent. Because people or investors were expecting interest rates to move higher going into next year, and banks are the ones that do benefit from that. So the rally that we've seen coming in from like January of this year, earlier this year, could have already priced in most of that interest rate hike. But JP Morgan is still going to be one of my plays for next year. Couple of really interesting sectors. I do think banking and biotech are two sectors that can perform really well, and then along with quality growth. Quality growth meaning your Apple, your Amazon, I think is ripe for some big gains in 2022. And then I also think that Facebook is very undervalued right now and expensive. So what are some financial banking companies you're looking at? So JP Morgan is one of them, and then possibly maybe a couple more that I will be looking into as well. And then retail, Walgreens already, Costco. I'm looking into Costco right now, but it's just been pushing higher way too much. So just waiting on a pullback for Costco as well. But this is a good, decent value play as well. It trades at a reasonable valuation. Revenue's been on a nice growth trend, and as the economy reopens back up fully, Costco will certainly benefit from that. But just a strong move coming in from March 2021. 83% rally. Year to date, this is up over 47%. You don't actually expect that from a company like Costco, right? So very strong gains. All right, so all right, let's take a look at the markets here once again, and we'll set up our charts. We'll keep Apple here, we'll keep Tesla, we'll keep Nvidia over here, and what else do you guys want to put? Do you guys want to put any other stocks? Mara, Upstart, AMC maybe? What do you guys want to put? The last one. So we got NEO, we got Amazon, we got Palantir. All right, we got most people talking about NEO, so we'll just put NEO there. So down a little bit over 4.4%. We got Nvidia down over 1.84, although we are seeing the buyers kind of step in a little bit. And Tesla also down over 2%, and Apple down about 30 basis points. We'll kind of switch between different companies. We'll put AMC at one point, then we'll put Tesla. We'll put some other stocks. How is Baba doing? So Alibaba is down a little bit over 2.5%. So once again, Chinese stocks getting a little bit hurt today. So XPeng was down 3% yesterday. We got Li Auto down over 3.3%, and NEO slightly down about 1.7%. And Baidu and JD and Baba also pulling back on the day. All right, so let's see. You need a double monitor. I do have a monitor. I just don't have the cable for the MacBook, like the HDMI cable. I still need to get that, like the adapter. And once I have that, I will definitely be able to put another monitor up there. But first things first, I need to fix the internet so that we don't have any lags. All right, the markets are open, you guys. We're going to switch over to the actual indices here. And let's see how good our prediction is for intraday. Like you guys said, red. Let's see. We opened all the way down here. Already seeing some buyers step in. That's good. All right, so let's take a look at the markets here. So we got Apple flat, Tesla trying to climb back higher, Nvidia still down over 2%, and NIO is also down over 4.4. So yeah, the entire watch list is red. The entire watch list is. That's incredible. Let me see if that's correct. Yep, the entire watch list is red, with some stocks flat. Walgreens is flat, CVS is flat, Vertex is flat, Foot Locker and Visa are flat, but everything else just straight up red. AMC down over 8.5%. We got Peloton down almost 6%, NIO down almost 5%, Enphase down almost 5%. Fubo TV's down another 4%. Trulieve hasn't opened yet, so we will talk about that. But so Joshua says recession's coming. That's interesting because Cathie Wood has that same prediction that there's going to be fears about recessions. There's not going to be a recession, but there's going to be some fear about a potential recession going into next year. Square, Tesla both down over 2.5%. Shopify down 2%. Palantir, Nvidia, AMD all down 1% each. So yeah, a lot of red in the markets today. Pretty interesting. We got the VIX jumping over 8% right now. So volatility back higher. Caddy, can you see the bear market yet? So bear market would be if the markets do correct over 15-20%. That's when we enter a bear market territory. Right now the S&P is down a little bit over 1.5%. For us to enter a bear market, the S&P will need to go all the way down to possibly below 4,000 points. And that would be a pretty drastic drop. And just based on interest rates to go higher, I don't expect like a bear market, but then there's also some fears about recession because Cathie Wood's obviously made a very bold prediction about deflation, and if that happens, then the Fed won't need to raise interest rates. In an environment where prices are going down, they don't need to raise interest rates. In fact, they don't want to raise interest rates because they want prices to be stable. They don't want prices to go high too much. They don't want prices to go low too much. They want them to be stable. And if there is any type of deflation, then interest rates will probably stay low. But that, again, is a completely different type of analysis from Cathie Wood. So it's a very unique point of view. For me, I don't think there's going to be a bear market below 15 or 20%. I could still see a correction, but I've always been in the category of 8 to 10% correction. I think is very reasonable for the markets because there's nothing unknown, right? Like for us to see the last crash because of the pandemic, that was quite unknown. It was like very, very select number of people actually saw it coming. But for the most part, it kind of blindsided the market, and that was a drop of 35%. Everything else, you'll notice the dips that we've seen, 10%, 8%, 8%, 10%, that has been due to some known factors. There's been some uncertainty, but it's still because of some known factors. So interest rates, quantitative tightening, the new variant, some recession scares, those are all known factors in my view. We all know that, right? We're talking about it, so we know it. But the market could price that in maybe from an 8 to 10% correction point of view. That's it. All right, let's see. So, all right, let's take a look at the market. NIO definitely pulling back here, down over 5.5%. Tesla's down almost 4% now. Apple's down over 0.5%. Then we got Apple's up over 0.5%. Only stock probably that's keeping up. Nvidia's down over 3%. Let's take a look at the markets here. How are we doing? How are we doing right now? Let's go over to Finviz. So, all right, this is not even updated. Finviz is like, you know what? Don't even bother checking me today because this is going to be severely red. All of it. So yeah, this will update shortly. Should update in about 10 minutes, I think, 10 or 20 minutes. I'll keep you guys updated. But look at Apple getting a little bit bought up here. Up over 70 basis points. Let's take a look at AMC. AMC also getting bought up, just under 7% in the red. CVS is going higher. Upstart's down over 5%, down to 143. Oof. Wow. We got PayPal down still 1%. AMD's down about 30 basis points. Not bad. Still flat. How is Mara doing? I want to take a look at some of the crypto-related stocks. So, Mara up over 75 basis points. Then we got Riot. Let's take a quick look. Tesla is still down a little bit over. Actually, Riot's still down over 1%. So Tesla, I will be a buyer possibly like in the 800s again. If it does breach below 900, then I would love to kind of get some more Tesla. But right now, I think the valuation is just way too high for me to actually buy at these levels. I think on a forward PE basis, 2022 PE basis, if EPS rose by 50%, we're still sitting at just over 100 forward price earnings, which, if you guys know me, is a little bit on the high end for the company, right? So I would still wait for either the price to come down or the earnings to grow. One of those two things to happen for the PE to come down a little bit so that we can start to make sense of the valuation. So Upstart, just getting sold off aggressively. 107, $87 is going to be that next support level to watch. Let's take a look at some of the Chinese stocks here. So NEO down almost 6%, unfortunately. We got XPeng down over 3%. Li Auto is down over 1.6%. JD.com down over 2%. And Alibaba also down about 1% right now. AMC definitely getting bought up here today. Yes, a lot of stocks have actually hit new 52-week lows very recently. A lot of the higher growth companies, I would say, have hit like new 52-week lows. Wow, Mara's up 2% now. So definitely seeing some momentum to the upside. We did buy some Mara today as well. So Bitcoin seeing not that much of a rally, but still, pushing up over 71 basis points, rather flat on the day. Arnold said, new Spider-Man coming AMC to the AMC. Oh man, I love it. AMD also getting bought up now, almost green. There we go. We're just flat on the day. How are the markets doing? So NASDAQ getting bought up very, very nicely. So you got the NASDAQ just over 15,260. S&P is also getting bought up. Still down though, still red. And the Dow is now green. With the NASDAQ still needs to do a lot of work here. So buyers really stepping in somewhat. So lots of stocks look like they're turning green. It's good. PayPal's almost green as well. How is Square doing? Still down over 2%. Fubo TV getting bought up a little bit. It was down over 4%. So, and then we got Enphase still down over 5.5%. I do think Enphase. We trimmed a little bit of Enphase. I'm not too keen on the valuation that it trades at right now. Certainly got a breakdown below 221 and the 50 EMA. So I'm really thinking about Enphase here. Still got a very, very small position on Enphase. Palantir, almost green. That's good. Getting bought up here. Palantir has just come down way too low. RSI is very, very oversold. Even on the weekly chart, continues to sell off. Just over 36. MACD's been selling off as well. So $17.30, $17. This right here is going to be that support level to watch for Palantir. So CrowdStrike, that's a great question. CrowdStrike, 197 right now. So watching 168, that's the level that I'm actually eyeing for. And CrowdStrike, we've also covered. It trades at very, very high valuations. So 120 all the way as high as 168. Those are two support levels that I'm watching very closely for CrowdStrike. So Walgreens up over 1.5%, finally giving us something. But again, I wouldn't trust Walgreens at all. Honestly, in the short term, I wouldn't trust Alex because this stock has given a wild ride for us long-term holders. It's just been back and forth. Look at the volatility for this company. So remember this day when after they reported earnings, it sold off all the way down to $45 and then got bought up. Like it had a rally to 14.5%, and the following days sold off, pushed higher, then huge sell-off here, down about 15%, and then a rally back higher. I mean, it's just been so volatile. So volatile. For a company like Walgreens that doesn't need to be this volatile, it is. And it's just been a lot back and forth. So I wouldn't trust Walgreens until it's actually at $100 a share. So I wouldn't trust it until it's 100. So at 100, I would feel a lot more comfortable. But right now, it's just back and forth. Anything can happen. Everything goes for Walgreens right now. Yes, Walgreens is like oranges, very much back and forth, very volatile as well. So Southwest up over 1%, so that's okay, that's good. Mara's up over 3.6%, so that's good. That's a decent rally. I do plan on buying more. Under $30 would be like the prime spot for me to buy more Mara. This is the chart that I actually shared with our Discord members. So if you kind of go back a little bit, let me just remove this head and shoulders. So, you'll notice that there's been some support levels, and this intersection is the very, very strongest support. Anything between $27 and $30 for Mara is a very strong support right now. So previous support level here, which acted as a resistance a couple of times, and then we've also got a previous support here that we validated. So, and then of course the higher lows by this ascending support, the green line, all that intersection, very strong support for Marathon Digital. And of course we got the crypto, Bitcoin. If it rallies, then Mara benefits from that. So that's that. There we go. We got this S&P now almost turning positive, only down 30 basis points. The Dow is pushing up. We got the Nasdaq still down over 70 basis points, however. And we got look at this charts. I mean, everything's just getting bought up very nicely. We got Apple up over 87. Square still down, but getting bought up nicely. PayPal green, AMD green, Facebook flat. How's Tesla doing? Tesla's still down 2.2%, unfortunately. I think NIO's only a little bit down over 6% as well. So yeah, it's not so bad now, the markets. Let's take a look if this chart's updated yet. Still no update. How long does it take? Because I think this gives us a much better overview of how the markets are doing, like a more visual overview. So we'll check back in once again. So Nvidia, let's take a look. There we go, getting bought up very nicely, only down about 0.5%. How is XBI doing? I'm interested in this one. Down about 1.8%. So watching this for 2022, certainly am, definitely. $100 is gonna be that next support level to watch. So Jamie, yes, I did buy Mara pre-market today. So, all right, let's take a look at, so like a star, thank you so much for that donation. Let's take a look at ARKK. I actually do have a plan on putting out a video on evaluating ARK Invest's portfolio and their holdings. So, I think they have 25 stocks in ARKK. I will be going over every single stock, kind of rating it on how I see that holding from a valuation standpoint, from a growth standpoint, from balance sheet management, all that stuff. It'll be like a quick fundamental analysis on and technical analysis on all the companies that ARK Invest has in their flagship ETF ARKK and kind of rating their portfolio. So we'll be doing that very soon. But this right here is going to be that support level right now at $89 to $90. So we got that perfect validation here coming in from October 2020, and that's where we're bouncing off of once again recently. Right now we're just hovering over that level. So even though ARK, it's an ETF, support resistance levels don't quite matter that much because the underlying holdings matter most. But it's still kind of important for us to keep track of some of those levels. And of course, the portfolio is made up of some of the higher growth names, higher multiple names. So it's not a surprise how, this ETF's underperformed and it's down 25% year to date because they do have a longer term horizon. And I also do agree with ARK on that front that, just because you underperform the S&P 1 year does not mean that over the long term you're going to do badly, right? Because if you think about Warren Buffett's portfolio, there's been years that he's underperformed the S&P, specific years. And if you just look at that 1 year and you think that he's not a good investor, then you would be wrong, right? Because over the long term, over 40, 50-year period, on a compounded basis, on an annualized basis, he's done really well. So, if you take last year's gains and if you take this year's gain on a 2-year basis, ARK's easily outperformed the S&P, the NASDAQ, right? But just this year, focusing on 1 year, it definitely hasn't performed, which obviously has come from a rotation away from growth over to value. But it'll be interesting, right, what next year brings. I think next year will put us all on the level ground. I think 2021 was for growth. 2022 was for value. 2020 was for growth. 2021 was for value. And I think 2022 kind of puts us all on the same level and kind of gets us started on a fresh slate. And it'll be interesting how everything performs. But yeah, year to date, not doing so well. So, all right, let's see. Adobe down 4%. Oof, that's a big drop. Yeah, they report earnings, actually 5% now. So they report earnings later this week on Wednesday or Thursday, I think. Very, very interesting. Very, very nice software stock in my view, but still trades at a little bit of a higher valuation for. All right, there we go. So the market kind of looks okay. I mean, obviously this is not the best day, but it's also not the worst. I mean, things have been much worse when we've looked at this, but we got Intuit down almost 3%, Salesforce down over 2%. We got Adobe, we were going over that, down about 4%. Fortinet down over 3.7%. So this is also on my watch list for a potential opportunity here. Microsoft pulling back, Nvidia, AMD, Tesla's down over 2%, Apple slightly up over 0.5%. The banking sector is doing okay. But then we got healthcare down, real estate down, energy's down, software as services down. Some of the biotech medical companies are down. And then consumer defensive also slightly flat. So not a bad day, but reasonable, I would say. All right, so what were we looking at? So Adobe. So yeah, Adobe also somewhat of a higher valuation, 52 times earnings, enterprise value to EBITDA 39, price to sales at almost 20. That's really high, and price to cash flow at over 44. So does trade at a higher valuation here. There we go. The market started to pull back a little bit again after somewhat trying to fill this gap in after the gap down. So we still have some gap left. Let's see. S&P also pulling back here. VIX starting to push higher. It was down to 5.5% in the green, but now we're back over 6.5% in the green here. And but yeah, a lot of stocks pushed up right in the first 15 minutes. And now we're starting to see some volatility come down, stabilize a little bit. Let's take a look at some of the Dow 30 stocks. All right, right here. So we got Salesforce down 2.7%. That's bringing the Dow somewhat down. Microsoft is also down 2.5%. Wow, that's actually a big drop on Microsoft. 2.5%. It's actually not small. 2.5%. Yes, let's take a look at TCNNF as well. Or TCNF. Yeah. So yeah, $23.75, $24 is going to be that support level to watch for TrueLeaf. And definitely the volume's been a little bit lower for the company. And we've seen a bit of a sell-off here from 33, even though the company reported some very strong numbers. And I will consider kind of dollar cost average to kind of build a bigger position in this stock. Still have got a decent sized position, but if it stays at these levels, I would be a buyer. All right, so Dow 30 stocks here. Microsoft down 2.5%. CRM, we got over that earlier. Intel pulling back, but then the stocks that are green, we got Walgreens up over 1.5%, just hovering under $50. JP Morgan's up over 1%, and we got Goldman Sachs, UNH, Apple, and Travelers company as well. Yeah, Microsoft has just been on an absolute charge here. Time for some pullback. Google, wow, down over 1.7%. That's a big reasonable drop here for Google as well. So both Google and Microsoft under a lot of pressure on the day. So I think there was something that I read. I forgot what it was. I think it came out of Europe that the big tech companies need to be regulated or they need to be more scrutinized or something. It came out like this morning. I think it's one of those fears that are resurfacing on big tech again. I think if anybody read that, just let me know in the live chat. But it did come out of, I think, the UK, that there was some policymakers saying that big tech companies need to be better regulated. And I think they passed a bill or something. I think there was something about that. Forgot where I read it, but I think that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing a little bit of a pullback here on big tech companies. So Steve, hey Caddy, what are you thinking NIO will do after NIO Day? So it's kind of difficult to estimate, right? We already know that NIO is going to be announcing a new vehicle, ET5, and possibly a partnership with a mass production vehicle as well. So the fundamentals continue to be in a very, very good shape. Margins are growing, deliveries have been good, even though some months have been lower. But they're also selling higher priced models, right? Higher priced vehicles. So we do expect deliveries to ramp up significantly once lower priced versions or lower priced models come out and they're producing those. But right now, of course, the stock's been under a lot of pressure based on so many different catalysts coming out of China that it's just really unfortunate. The stock prices can't find proper ground. And today it's down over 5.6%. So just hovering over $31. So it's just been under a lot of pressure. And, as I mentioned before, China as a whole is a risky market, right? So if you're not comfortable, there's plenty of other opportunities out there. But if you understand the risk, if you understand the volatility, then sure, there's definitely opportunity, in my view, in some of the Chinese stocks. Like Alibaba, for example, definitely very, very undervalued, right? By every metric you go by, Alibaba remains undervalued, but it's also a risky stock, right? The company can be undervalued, but the stock can be risky and the stock can be volatile. And that's what we're seeing with companies like Alibaba. That's what we're seeing companies like NIO kind of go through right now. Is this going to flip over soon? Only time will tell. But if you're not comfortable, keep that allocation to a minimum. Stay out of the Chinese market. If you are comfortable, you can start to invest in this. Or if you are really, really confident, if you understand the markets, then of course you can build out a bigger position, right? I'm not here to tell you exactly what to do, but I'm here to kind of share my thoughts and what I think. And as I've said, there is risk. And if I'm personally somewhat comfortable, that's why I have a very small position in NIO right now. So Alibaba, I would love to get some, but until this volatility kind of weathers off, I don't think Alibaba is investable, but definitely the company is undervalued. And if the volatility kind of weathers off, the risk goes away, then certainly Alibaba is going to be a great deal in the 120s and 115s and 110s. And yeah, everyone's got opinions, and again, I respect everybody's opinions. I respect your analysis as well. So if you do think there's plenty of risk in China, all the power to you. I respect your analysis and opinion, and there's no hard feelings, of course. And obviously, do what's best for you. That's the name of the game. At the end of the day, I want you guys to do what's best for you. All right, so let's see. Let's take a look at Coinbase. So Coinbase at support right now. I'm surprised that Mara is up, I think, a little bit over 3%, or is selling off a little bit, just over 2%. Coinbase is not reacting. I think Bitcoin is just kind of flat here right now. Just over 90 basis points. That's why Coinbase is not moving, but it is at support at 248. If it comes down to 218 again, I would be very interested. There's a few stocks that if they do come down to my initial entry, I will be very, very interested once again. Coinbase is one of them, 218. Upstart is another one at $107 a share. And then AMD is another one, roughly in the $99 to $100 a share, around those levels. And then some of the other companies that I really like that we did invest, but then we exited because they were too overvalued. But if they do come down, once again, I would love to kind of buy more shares and kind of restart that position in those companies. So that's that. Yeah, so we've already gone over those companies. Pubmatic, let's take a quick look. So PUBM. So Pubmatic just hovering over this support at $35 a share, right? That's the 50 EMA right now for Pubmatic, and seems to be kind of forming a bull flag at the moment. So we did see nice move higher, but it's just been consolidating sideways. So much consolidation for Pubmatic right now, and right trading at that 50 EMA. So this was kind of like the lower high right now for Pubmatic, and then we saw a breakout from that level. And again, the short interest I think is still a little bit on the high end for the company, and 90% rally, support levels at 35, resistance near term at 44.50 for the stock. So we got the Nasdaq coming back down, still down over 1%. We got the S&P down over 38, and we got the Dow Jones still green, up over 30 basis points as well. Apple's pulling back slightly. We got AMD pulling back. PayPal's kind of hovering right over those gains. Nvidia flat. Tesla is also down over 2.2%. I think Amazon and Google and Microsoft are also selling off. Yep, Google down 2%, Microsoft down 2.5%. Amazon also pulling back as well. So I think we are seeing some rebalancing take place. Stocks that have done really well are being sort of like sold because of some profit taking, in my view, because of the year-end rebalancing. And then, of course, you pile on some of the inflation fears, you pile on some of the Fed meeting fears. Those are also getting priced into the markets right now, with the VIX up over 7%. So I think that'll be all for me. I'm going to jump over to our Discord, kind of send some market updates and alerts as well. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. And remember that these are just small blips in our long journey of investing that we have together for several decades out. I want to say years, it's several decades out together. So again, we're here for the long term, and we're going to continue to kind of watch these volatility, watch the stocks that we like, watch some of the undervalued plays, and kind of play off of some of the themes, cryptos, energy, commodities, all of that stuff. If you guys enjoyed this video, find it helpful, make sure that you drop a like. Also, make sure that you check out the Patreon link down in the description if you want to join and get a 16% discount and get those buy and sell alerts as well. I do plan on buying a lot more shares amid this sell-off and the volatility spike as well. So thank you so much for being here. I really hope you guys have a green day, even in this bloodbath somehow. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord as well. So thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next live stream.